few words on the cloud outages that we've been experiencing lately. So earlier this week, there was a global AWS outage because US Eats 1 shut the bed. US Eats 1 is the most populated, it's the biggest AWS region. And even though they have availability zones, there was a widespread issue with the DNS records for DynamoDB, which brought down a plethora of services in AWS because everything depends on it in there. So this led to Netflix being down, Roblox being down, Fortnite being down, a plethora of banks, a plethora of websites, and a bunch of other stuff. So first of all, this is like the fourth time or something that we've seen this. And earlier in the year, we had the CrowdStrike incident, right? So why is this happening, and what can we do about it? Well, first of all, I think that it's happening because they scared all of their tenured and experienced engineers away with RTO and with other fucking Jedi mind tricks, right? So that's one of the reasons. The other reason is because, for a lot of businesses, it just makes a lot of sense to be in the cloud, and I get that. I know that it's not viable for everyone to maintain their own infrastructure. But I recommend that you read Techno-Feudalism. Techno-Feudalism is a really great book explaining how information technology has changed the current economical landscape. It's turning everything into rent. So they want people to not own anything and to pay rent and to contribute to that system of rent by feeding their data or feeding their resources into it. Because think about it, cloud platforms like YouTube, that's a lot of people's job. So if it goes down, well, they can actually make a living off of it because that's really their job, right? So it's all entangled in this grid of this is your platform and this is what you're gonna be. This is what you're gonna be, and you're gonna pay me when your attention and your rent. So techno-feudalism is the perfect term to describe it. It's already been happening since the early 2010s, and it's just gotten worse. A lot of companies actually prefer being in the cloud because if they shit the bed, they just get to point fingers and you say, oh, Amazon did it. We're down because Amazon is down. It's kind of like a little bit of a scapegoating situation. However, I think that there's something we can do better. And we should avoid falling into that situation where a few players, a few corporations, basically own the whole internet. The internet is designed to be a decentralized system. That's why, remember that back in 2023, I had already posted videos about how to self-host your infrastructure. People seriously underestimate how much traffic they can serve with a single server, with a single computer, even more in the era of the 10K server. We have modern software and modern web servers are designed to handle 10,000 users a second at least. So, do you really need the cloud for everything? Because there's a lot of people who live and die by it. And again, it does help in a lot of cases. If you are a service which has very frequent and very spiky traffic peaks, it does help a lot. But I think that the solution is cloud exit. A lot of companies have been talking about their efforts to exit the cloud. DHH recently posted that their AWS bill yearly was $20 million. It's kind of insane. You can probably stand up a lot of data centers with $20 million, don't you think? And basically, I think that I support that idea of cloud exit. It doesn't even mean that you need to white glove your servers yourself if you don't want to break your fucking nails and shit. Like, there's people who can white glove them for you. You actually just maintain the software, right? And of course, I know that there's a lot of liabilities, that you have to be very responsible with backups, and with having redundancy, and having basically avoiding the situation that South Korea fell into, where they lost all of their data because it went out in a fire. So I know that it's easier said than done, but I just wanted to offer my opinion on that. I think that it's time for cloud exit. Cloud exit, cloud exit, cloud exit, cloud exit. And even more because I became motivated to do that because I was sick and tired of streaming services online, because it just feels like a ripoff. Like, I don't feel like paying for Disney Plus and like 10 different other services if I'm not really using them. So does cloud exit make sense to you? Let me know. Let me know what your thoughts are. There's a certain lost art to hosting things locally. We don't want to erode the expertise, and we should not allow the expertise to be eroded. Cloud exit. Cloud exit, everyone. I made a prediction 5 days before the AWS outage. I mentioned, because the week prior to that, you may remember that we had a YouTube outage. Like, a lot of services went down, including YouTube. And I made a prediction, and I said, outages are going to become more common, and vibe coding is going to be related somehow, and people are going to have a change of attitude towards vibe coding, because right now people are kind of in love with it, right? And I think that that's definitely what's going to happen in the coming months. So, is it time to stand up your own infrastructure? Let me know.